Hey, TikTok, where is it in your community guidelines that people can't talk about the apostles? Just wondering. So, this is all people and their algorithms, and God knows whoever programmed the algorithms will pay a price someday. Stupid people that have been handed over to their delusions. Let me show you something. So I had said that Apostle John, he lived till like 100, 95 to 100. He was the last apostle to die. They couldn't kill him. So do you think somebody living to 100 that they didn't get married? Jesus never told any of the apostles they couldn't get married. That was never in discussion. But because of that church that was the Roman Empire, Mandine, Texas claimed that John the Baptist was married with children, but this reflects a non-Christian sex view, unrelated to John or Apostle John. Early fathers. So when they talk about the early church fathers, these people, this Tertullian and Jerome, that's the Catholic Church. That's why I said I throw it out the window. I do. Because of this reason alone. Early fathers like Tertullian and Jerome favored celibacy over marriage, influencing perceptions of apostolistic lives without referencing John specifically. Yet Jesus never told any of them they had to remain celibate. That's all the Catholic Church is doing. Can you see how that would, they do whatever they want. Has any church ever talked about why is it that they couldn't kill John? It's obvious why they couldn't. It's because he believed without Jesus. He believed before Jesus resurrecting. That's why. That's why he was favored and loved the most. Because Jesus knew, he believed before Jesus resurrected. Was the other 11 apostles, not that he didn't love them, but again, they didn't fully believe until Jesus came back in the flesh after being crucified. Plus, because John believed so much, he stayed at the cross and witnessed the entire crucifixion, not worrying about being arrested. But this is all the church's influence. And you mean to tell me no Baptists, none of them ever called any, many of the Protestants knew who the Catholic Church was, but I don't think they realized that there's a whole bunch of stuff they made up. Actually, not even, some of it, that's why Paul's writings have been called into question, because they absolutely conflict with the things Jesus said and did. Not all of his writings, but many. There's enough. But that empire would have had access to his writings. Besides that, all of the documents that are missing, you realize this is how stupid people are too. Because people believe we've been lied to about everything, then they think the entire Bible is a lie. And yet they think that they're following some universal God. And, oh, see, I told you, see? So it's like that's what that does. It makes people really stupid. And then they think that man sat down and wrote the Bible themselves just to control people. Nope. Like, that's stupid-minded people, though. And those stupid-minded people will not be shadow banned, but I will be. Because I know that the Bible is legit, because no man could write it. Did man write it? Yes, they dictated it because God, the Holy Spirit of God in them. So these stupid people that want to follow their universal God or whatever it is, okay, I don't care. But they get on here and then, start saying, yeah, see, nobody knows that Peter and Paul even went to Rome. Right. No, there's a lot that people don't know with that. Because everything has been controlled by the Catholic Church. They were the Roman Empire. Okay, so, but the stupid place people go to is that then they think the whole Bible is a lie. And that's just showing stupidity. That's showing no discernment at all, which shows that whatever spirit they follow is, well, not the right spirit. Let's just say that. But they'll get a ton of views. because that served the Roman Empire isn't about Christ. They never have been. You're only going to know that, though, if you know the Holy Spirit. Then you know the Bible is legit. Look, the reason the Bible is legit is because it's the one God they always want to take down. So that's how you know it's the legit one. It's the one they had to, destroy all the writings, and yet nobody, this is all people that had no contact with the apostles. They didn't. Everything is word of mouth from the very church that has a systemic historical child molestation problem in it. I mean, just put 2 and 2 together. But John, because he was the only apostle they tried to kill, they tried to poison him. They put stuff in his drink. It didn't work. They tried to boil him. I mean, he suffered a lot, but they could not kill him. So it's very likely, because Jesus never told any of these people they couldn't be married. Okay, that's all the Catholic Church is doing. They do that, their whole celibacy shit. Okay, all to just upset God. Because what did God say in the beginning? Procreate and fill the world. So when you do your celibacy stuff, then they find every little way they can to mock God, or just show that they don't know God. But it's a long time to not know God. I think it's more they've been mocking him. So that gift, whatever God gave Apostle John, that he was able to live through so many assassination attempts, very likely carried on, because John likely got married, given that he lived till 100, and had children. And those children, well, they traveled, I would imagine, to England, Ireland. That's exactly what John would do, because that's what God would have told him, is your children will carry it on. We'll need some, not that they would be the only ones, because God can give anybody the Holy Spirit, but to bring it all together at some point, the truth, you would need a line. You would. I think the Catholic Church knew that he did. I think that's why they were going through the lands with claiming all this heresy, because they were trying to find, and John knew, because he wrote Revelation, knew that that beast was, he knew who the beast was, but that he didn't know what it would become later. But God had him write all that down. So you could totally see that God would tell John, send your children out, so that there would always be a living legacy that can eventually, at God's time, come back together and prove that that church is false and what I'm saying is true. Really. So, while everybody wants to act like the Bible is just nonsense and written by man, and those are stupid people that say that, it's impossible. Just read a few pages of it, and you can tell no writer is that good. Even the best writers themselves will say that no writer could write what like the Bible is. So these men didn't, and that church certainly didn't. What more is that church has just been out to try to, they just want power and control. But it is rather odd that both of these men survived. I mean, they say but there's been 11 attempts on Donald Trump's life, but only officially do they acknowledge 4. They tried to kill him twice with poison. And then, the last time they tried to kill him, they just dumped him on the island of Patmos because he was so old, hoping he would just die. But after 18 months of him not being dead yet, they just let him go back to Ephesus. And then he went one day in his sleep. But his children carried on that gift that God gave Apostle John. And who knows, maybe it traveled to the McLeods or It's in that line.